Hello, hello, hello. How are you all doing? I hope you're all well. If you're out there in YouTube land, if you're out there in Twitch land, good to see you on this Saturday evening. Here in my part of the world, it's been sunny, it's been windy, it's been raining, it's been every season today. So it's really unpredictable. I literally drove out a minute ago to get something and it was sunny and it started raining. Anyway, hope you're all well. Let's crack on with what we're doing today. I am doing a number of recipes from the criminally underloved Delia Smith. She wasn't underloved at the time, but hardly anyone talks about her now, so I'd like to talk about it now. And I'm going to look specifically at this how to cheat cookbook from, I want to say 2004? Let me check. Oh, completely wrong, 2008, which was a big deal when it came out. How to cheat, really big deal, but caused a lot of headlines, got a lot of criticism from snooty chefs like Anthony Worrell Thompson, where is he now, and a few others. And there were some really good ideas in there that I want to investigate. And tonight I thought I would do her cheat lasagna. Just this week I published a book. I published a video for Delia Smith and comparing her to Julia Child, and if you've watched that you'll know that I cooked Julia Child's beef bourguignon and Delia Smith's version of beef bourguignon. Now Delia's got loads of books, I think about 15 or 20, and in there you will find a proper kosher beef bourguignon dish, but I did the one out of cheat, and that one is really simple. It's literally like a one pot. You pour everything into the pot, beef, bacon, onions, mushroom, wine, a couple of other bits, and bake it. And it comes out terrific. We loved it. Had some friends around, they also agreed that the cheat lasagna was better. So I thought, let's give more of her things a go. Let's give them a try. It's a Saturday night. Nice to have a lasagna on a Saturday night. I think so anyway. So I'm going to do her lightning lasagna. So let's pop the mini cam on and we can have a little look together at the lightning lasagna. Ooh. So there's a number of ingredients on there that are interesting, to say the least. There's, well, the things that are unexpected. Now it does actually call for a jar of Italian tomato sauce, more on that in a moment. And does call for a tub of ready-made cheese sauce. But the most interesting thing I find is this ingredient here. Put it on the cam there. It's a tin of minced beef, i.e. ground beef in a tin. Not an ingredient I would usually reach for. I can distinctly remember when she was doing this show on the BBC, this ingredient came up a lot, and she specifically called out the M&S one. It's even labelled in the book, get the M&S one. It's not something I would usually get. If you want to have a little look at the ingredients there, there's quite a few ingredients, but not too much weirdness in there. So you've got beef, tomato puree, onions, corn flour, stock, roasted barley malt extract, sugar, salt and pepper. So the ingredients list as it goes is not awful, you know. Ingredients for this could be a lot worse. So, now I've noticed I'm leaning over to that side a bit today, so I'm going to pop you over there. Ah, there we go, that feels better. Am I leaning that way now? There we go. So, yeah, this beef here in a tin, not something I would usually cook with, but as a different Gary would say, let's give it a go. I was intrigued by this because let me run you through it again. So you've got lasagna sheets, you know, no great shock there. You've got a tin of beef. It then asks for a jar of sauce. Now she specifically calls out Dress Italian tomato sauce. Dress is apparently a brand name. I looked this up. The only hit I could find for it was someone on the Delia forums saying, what happened to Dress? What can I substitute it with? Which I found quite amusing. So apparently it was a brand. I've never heard of it. So I've got this Tesco Finest sun-dried tomato and garlic and basil one. And again, I was going for something with a decent ingredients list. And the ingredients list, so what's my point? So if you're going to use preserved ingredients, no shade here, no problem at all. But try and find ones that have got minimal ingredients, because, you know, less rubbish added into it. But still, you're trying to get a lasagna on the table as quick as possible. So the ingredients for this are tomato, tomato puree, olive oil, garlic puree, sun-dried tomato, basil, sugar, salt and lactic acid, which is used to balance the acidity of the tomatoes and contain them. The House of Oz. Hello Heather, I haven't seen you in a little while. Nice to have you back. Hope all is well out in Australia as you start heading into spring and summer. Good luck to you. Yeah, so another ingredient is a tub of cheese sauce. She specifically asks for, instead of doing a bechamel or a white sauce, she specifically calls out the Sainsbury's one, but I couldn't be bothered to go to Sainsbury's. So yeah, essentially it's a load of wet things added together. I'm really intrigued how it comes out, you know, how much effort you get. Salt might be an issue, but we can't really tell that till we get there. So let's find out, let's follow along. So I've got a bowl here where we're going to add essentially the ragu and everything all together. Oven's already on. Yes, it is. So let's go. So first, mix the contents of the red sauce with the mince. So let's pop him open. Apologies if best channel on YouTube, Atomic Shrimp, is watching, but I've got no problem with using the ring pull. Not going to lie, it smells a bit pet foody. Probably eaten worse. What up? So here we go. If you're just tuning in, no, I'm not feeding the cat. Although actually he'll probably ask to be fed during this stream at some point. Let's see what happens. There we go. Lovely. Let's crank that up a little bit. So I think you can see a little better what's going on in that bowl. There we go. Yeah. What are you doing out there in the world? What have you had to eat today? What are you going to eat today? It's a Saturday where I am, Sunday where you are, Heather. What are you doing this weekend? Are you eating out? Are you getting a takeaway? Can you not be bothered? Getting a delivery? What's going on? Okay, tastes fun. I thought it would taste more salty and sloppy, but you can see cubes, well, pieces of fat in there, which is fine, you know. Fat is flavour, as they say. In fact, I'm going to leave that out. I've just popped it in the bin. I'm going to leave it out because in a bit, when we've got a bit of free time, because this is going to bake in the oven, let's have a look at some of the dietary stuff. How is it? How good is it for you? I don't imagine it's great for you, but yeah. So I'm going to mix this with red sauce. So, you know, you can get those, and there's brands, Dolmio and Ragu and all those, that will sell you a tomato sauce, but usually they say, oh, just brown some mince first. Well, this has taken that step out for you as well. So, got dregs in that, so rather neatly. And again, for those of you that watch the beef bourguignon, little red wine in there, just to rinse the jar out. There we go. Got the most out of the jar. What else goes in there? Okay, I think that's the red sauce done. We're just going to mix it up so it's combined. Part 1 done. Next part is cheese sauce, which again, no bechamel, no roux. This book is all about shortcuts to getting dinner on the table. When Delia came up with this book, she was looking at people's lifestyles in the late 2000s and thinking, frankly, people are struggling to get food on the table. So this is what they were, this is what she was looking at. Look at that, that was satisfying. I might have to clip that later. Might just walloped, came out. Wallop. I confess I did enjoy that. Okay, add some nutmeg. So here you're getting closer to a bechamel because you should be adding things like bay and nutmeg. These recipes always say like a quarter of a nutmeg. I've never in my life measured that out. I love nutmeg. Just that aroma you get there. It looks a bit like pencil shavings. Stick with me, stick with me. We'll see where we're going. Next, stir in some creme fraiche. About 2 tablespoons. Can't be bothered to get a tablespoon out, so let's use this. What? I don't not quite sure what 2 tablespoons of creme fraiche are doing. Anything else? Nope. Maybe it just loosens it. I don't know. But 2 tablespoons, it's not a lot in a roughly 600 to 700 grams of cheese sauce. Well, it's palatable. Right, lightly oil a dish, 18 by 24. I got a couple of dishes out, and that one's actually got some rubbish in it, so I'm just going to quickly rinse that through. Whew. Do say hello if you're in chat, it'd be lovely to see you. Check everything's working. That button, excellent. So I simultaneously stream on Twitch and YouTube. That means twice the things to look at. Give myself real trouble. It says to oil that, so I'll just use a little spray and to top that up. Let's keep that cloth out actually. I think we'll chef that one. Right, so Auntie Delia, what order do you suggest we do that in? Hello Zach Smith, fellow humanoid. Add a quarter of the meat sauce. Just making a cheat lasagna here, based off what Delia Smith says. We are already rocking and rolling. A fresh coat of wax. Just putting the second coat on now. There we go, nice little layer. What do you want next? You want sheets. Okay, let's go. Okay, now add a quarter of the cheese sauce. Not really going to measure that, but we've all made lasagnas before, right? It always comes out good no matter what you do to it. Bosh. Right, and now some mozzarella. This is just a ball of mozzarella, which I was just draining because I hate it when it gets all wet and sloppy. So I'm just going to tear a few pieces off, chuck it in there. Not once. That's what I'm here for. Zach, I've no idea what you're going on about, but lovely to have you here, my friend. Put that away. And we're going to have a few basil leaves. One of the most popular posts on my blog is a version of... Oh, actually, I did it on this YouTube channel as well because it was so popular. A long time ago. Was the Sopranos lasagna. And there's a line Uncle Junior says about Carmela puts a layer of basil in the lasagna. Rightio, let's carry on. Well, I've got my proportions all wrong. But it doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter because you'll cut through it and it'll look amazing. Heather from House of Oz says, lasagna is one of my favourite. I make it using a micro-Pierre white recipe. Are you talking about his vegetarian one, Heather, or are you talking about more traditional, you know, ragu al forno one? I've made his vegetarian one. Have I made his meaty one? I don't know that I have actually. Be a bit more generous. Dude's winging it. Not winging it that much. I'm looking at the book, it's right in front of me, you can see it on the camera. No traditional one, okay. Is that in a book or did you snaffle that online just out of interest? A few blobs of cheese. A little bit of basil. BBC Maestro one. Yeah. I think you're right, Zach. I think you're right. It definitely makes a ragu. Then he combines it with macaroni cheese. But I can't remember a lasagna. I'm not saying he didn't do it. He definitely did in the vegetarian course. It's the meat one. But I'm sure we can extrapolate from there exactly what he did. More seasoning. Auntie Delia requests. Four layers, but I think I'm only going to get away with 3 because I'm using quite a wide pan. I should have measured it out really. Online recipe. I will seek it out. I will seek it out and give it a look. That's all of my mince mixture, which, for those of you that are just joining us, was a tin of mince. Yes, really. It was from M&S though, so I get some middle class points for that. And a jar of tomato sauce. Is that all finished? Good, let's get rid of that. Right, cheese sauce, we might have a bit too much of this, but you know what, I think I'm going to put some in a toasty in the morning. Da, 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 da. Just want to make sure those sheets are covered. If they're not covered with anything, they just dry out. So you've got to make sure some sort of sauce is covering your pasta sheets. Good-o. Yes, chuck them on. Probably don't need it on that last layer, but I've got the last of the mozzarella is going to go on there. Bang, bang, bang. Very high tech. A little bit of Parmesan. Actually, I think this might be Grana Padano. I can't remember. Which calls for a fraction more nutmeg. Don't know why. Let's figure it out. Wish I'd left it out now. Finish of seasoning. Where are we now? Where I am in the universe, it's 5 to 7, and that should take 30 minutes, maybe longer. But let's get that in the oven, and we'll do some other stuff. Right, let's get rid of a few things I don't need. Make a bit of space. So that's the lasagna part done. So we will pop that away for a minute. And do something to go on the side. Freshly ground nutmeg, there's no other type. There's no point using that dust that's already done. So what I'm going to do now is, as a little accompaniment, it's sort of like a garlic bread, is something me and my daughter came up with when we went to, no, wrong bowl, went to Papa John's. Hadn't been there in forever, and just ordered these like garlic knots. And they're really tasty, but actually incredibly easy to do yourself. So I'm just going to pop this in the microwave. It's just garlic butter. This is Kerrygold's garlic butter. You can get Lurpaks, that's perfectly good, but I quite like Kerrygold's. So I'm just melting that. We're going to brush that on in a moment. I've got some ready-made pizza dough. When I said, if you were at the beginning of the chat, I said I popped out. Well, that was to get some fresh pizza dough. I thought I had some, but I didn't. It's very sticky. Let's have a look at the box there, because it's being a right little sod. Ah, there's my problem. I got it out to rest, because some of these doughs, they recommend you get them out to rest first, but it doesn't say to do that with this one. So we're going to have some sticking to the paper, but it'll be all right. We'll work through it. Well, this is not behaving itself at all. There we go, that's better. So, if you're using the Pizza Express brand, I would recommend not getting out the fridge in advance. G.A.D. Leonard. Good evening. Never thought to buy pre-made garlic butter before. Quite simple to make. It is quite simple to make, but it is something I always have in the fridge, just in case, because you think at the last minute, I just need some garlic butter for something, and maybe you don't have any butter to hand, or maybe you've just washed everything up and you can't be bothered and you don't want to do any more. Do I have a Thermomix? I don't have a Thermomix. Ruinously expensive in this part of the world. That would be a great idea, because you can prove it in there as well, can't you? Wow, he's being a real pain in the neck. This is real cooking, folks. Thermomix is an Australian brand, I think, isn't it? Just going to rescue as much as I can. So, yeah, Leonard, just to finish that point there, absolutely, it's dead easy to make, but at the same time, it's saved me quite a few times. Right, a few dregs on there, which I will sort out later. Meanwhile, I think I'm going to flour that surface. I feel like even though it's greaseproof paper, it's starting to stick a little bit. Still prove it in a bowl, yeah. But this is one of those you get in the fridge aisle, you know. Thermomix is German? Yeah, you could be right. There's quite a lot of good Australian appliance brands. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Sage, or Breville, as you call them there, and other gadgets besides, you'll see on other videos. My toaster, my espresso machine. What else is in there? Can't remember. Loads of other things. So what am I doing here? I'm just making it into shapes, and then I will chop them into pieces. Get a bench scraper if you don't have one. One of the best tools you can get for such little cost. Really, really useful, really, really handy. I'm just going to roll these into fat finger shapes. And just coming back to the idea of garlic butter, I mean, this is what this whole lasagna recipe is about, right? It's about using some pre-made ingredients to shortcut you, as is this pizza dough, right? It's about shortcuts to get you where you need to go, particularly in an evening. Right, let's get a little knife. And I've got some more mozzarella here, but it's the solid stuff that is marked usually for pizza, because they've drained it and squished it so that it doesn't go all soggy. So again, I'm just going to cut this into sort of finger-sized pieces. And I'm just going to pop one in there, pop a piece of mozzarella, and just encase it in the pizza dough. Or actually, I forgot where I put the salt. A little pinch of salt. House of Oz says they have a lot of Breville items in their kitchen. Look exactly, yeah. So Breville already existed as a brand in the UK, so they couldn't use that name here. So they're called Sage in this part of the world, but they're called Breville in the States and obviously in Australia as well. It's very confusing. The Breville in this in this part of the world are most famous for a toasty maker. You know, those folding things where you put two pieces of bread and cheese and you fold it together. You know, the phrase Breville toaster is just a thing here. So just very roughly encasing these pieces of dough, pieces of mozzarella in dough. And as you probably predicted, I'm going to give them a quick blast of garlic butter, which is why I melted it earlier, and then bake them. They take about 20 odd minutes, so they should be ready about the same time, given all the faffing time I've done since finishing the lasagna. Right. Get a pinch of salt and all. Go and fetch my garlic butter. I've got to check if it's melted first. Oh yes, it has. Perfect. So I'm going to turn them over now so the seam is facing down, and therefore they're trapped in there. What is Marco's Country Hotel? So it is the Rudlow Arms, Zach, in the Cotswolds. And someone in the comments said, you need to go there, you need to review it. I will put money towards it if you go. So as you can see from that link down there, I have started a fundraiser to go there. I think it's about £130 for a night. And I need to get there as well, travel, trains and taxis. And I will do my darndest to try and have a chat with the big man as well. I can't promise that part, but if we hit our goal below through Ko-fi donations, I will try and get up there or over there and film the whole thing. Yeah, so someone basically dared me to. So there we are. If you fancy seeing videos about me going to Marco's Country Hotel, which has incredibly mixed reviews. If you're bored of an afternoon, I'd recommend having a read. Yeah, feel free to donate at the link below. Right, I'm going to pop these in the oven, just above the lasagna. Actually, I'm going to shuffle everything around. Don't quite have the setup to show you the oven, but the lasagna is looking very melty, so it's off to a good start. Okay, so we've got lasagna in the oven. That's had 10 minutes. It's going to take another 20. The garlic knots take about another 20 or so. So that's that part done. I'm also going to have a little green salad on the side, but I also, if I had time, which it's looking like I do, might knock up a quick dessert as well. Hello Adam, good to see you. You're on a streak of 3 of watching my streams. Top man, top man. And if you are interested in family-friendly budget videos, I would recommend you click on Adam's name and find his channel. If you can't, just look up his name on YouTube. Lots of great family-friendly, budget-conscious recipes there. That camera's just turned off. Let's turn him off for a minute, give him a little rest. Time for a drink. I've got a notification, what's that? Nothing exciting. YouTube thinks I'm interested in an Aerosmith single for some reason. For those just joining us, we have a cheap lasagna in the oven that's just been made with tinned mince, jar of sauce, cheese sauce already made, and we've just layered it all up. We then just made some quick garlic knots with ready-made pizza dough and ready-made garlic butter. That's just happening. I'm thinking now, I dallied with the idea of doing a chocolate mousse. If you were around a few weeks ago, I did a chocolate mousse of Delia's on here, but this is again a cheat version, so let's have a look. It's a slightly unusual recipe. Let's do it that way around so I can show you. Chocolate ricotta mousse. If you don't know, ricotta is a type of Italian cheese. It's a byproduct from making another cheese. I can't remember which one it is. We're going to melt chocolate, mix it with ricotta cheese. It says rum. I might use rum, I might do something else. A little bit of sugar and a little bit of creme fraiche. It's a bit weird, but we've got time. We've got at least 15 minutes, so I think we can do it. Yeah, let's do it. Let's see what happens. It's a slightly mad recipe. I don't know if it's going to taste cheesy. I hope not. Hopefully the chocolate is going to do the work. So I'm going to melt that in our old chum, the microwave. Just nudge that over so you can see it. 150 using Cadbury's Bourneville. This is 180, so I don't need quite all of that, but you go 100 into a heat-proof bowl. So it's going to melt 100 grams of chocolate. Bosh, bosh, bosh. Grams exactly. 102. Ruined. That doesn't look like a lot, does it? 100 grams of chocolate. Okay, we're going to melt it. The rest are going to blitz into bits. I want to do that in a minute, because I want to do everything else. It actually says, she says to use a mini chopper, as in a small food processor. But, let's switch that over. She says to do it in a food processor. You come back. No, maybe not. Means getting some gear out. Should we get some gear out? Heather, we were just talking about sage gear, so I'm going to get out my favourite piece of sage equipment. That's the Breville Kitchen Whiz Pro. And sadly, in the week, it suffered a small casualty. So that bowl locks on there. It lifts off now. A piece of the plastic snapped underneath. I had a look at replacing it. £60 to replace this bowl. So I'm umming and ahhing whether that's worth it or not. I can't decide. See how my chocolate's doing. Not really started. Off it goes again. Just getting the blade out for the food processor. Adam, what are you having for dinner tonight? What are you cooking? Or are you getting a takeaway? Are you eating out? Can you not be bothered? So I'm going to put 50 grams of chocolate in here. All right. A bit of that. I'll go in there. Right. This guy I'm going to go on. Will that look any good on there? Might do if I move that over. Right, noise warning. I'm not going to mute it. When I tried to mute it before, people went, nah, leave it on. So, you've had your warning. And that's made chocolate chips. So let's pop those into a bowl. And here we go. There's all my chocolate bashed up. Heather, you having a roast pork? Nice. Haven't had roast pork in ages. Right. Now everything else is going in here. So we'll get a ricotta. It's a tub of very mild tasting cheese. Rah. Why am I using a piece of equipment for this? Why am I using my finger? No idea. No idea. Gordon Ramsay. From the shadows he appears. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Spatula this out. Blob. For those of you reading the title, we've already made the lasagna. It's in the oven cooking. So now we're going to make a quick chocolate mousse. Delia calls for some rum. I don't really fancy rum, so I'm going to add a little swig of Bailey's Irish cream instead. It says 1 tablespoon, so it's like nothing. That'll do. And then 1 tablespoon of dark brown sugar. Which is about that much. And then back once again with the creme fraiche. Where did I put the creme fraiche? I've got so many packets and jars just over here. Oh, there it is, hiding. So I think one of the downsides of this is it's making a lot of stuff to throw away. I just want to weigh this out, make sure I've got enough. Aha, I've run out of creme fraiche, but I do have some more. But it's just outside in the garage, so I'm going to pop on a be right back while I pop to the garage, because you don't want to hear me rummaging around in the garage, but I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Just had to pop out to the garage. You didn't want to hear all the thumping and banging as I got the other creme fraiche out. Ah, completely missed the bowl while I wasn't concentrating. Very good. Tidy that up in a bit. Been quite a messy stream this evening. That should be fun to deal with later. Pop you over there. Gordon Ramsay, you were humming this in the shower recently. Is that because you're a fan of the game, or it just came to you in a dream? Right, lid on. I'm doing this backwards. That's all those ingredients incorporated. Just continuing to melt the chocolate, which we will add to that once it's ready. What a mess. Give it that. Just going to put a few things away. It's getting a bit here. Yeah, so our lasagna's in the oven. Our garlic bread knots are also in the oven. I'm going to have a quick peek. Things are looking good. We are waiting for the chocolate to be finished melting. It's quite catchy, never played the game. Well, there's a reason I used it, right? Because it's a good tune. By a composer called Yuzo Koshiro, who is just an incredible composer. Many, many game soundtracks to his name. This is a weird mix, isn't it? So a reminder, we've got creme fraiche, ricotta, a shot of Bailey's, and sugar in here. I'm going to add melted chocolate as soon as that is ready. We're going to have a peek. It's not quite there, but it's starting to break down. See, I told you, it's starting to break down. That book's got to be splattered. Yeah, it's all right, actually. It's holding up. And this is a copy from the library, so it's not too bad. Look, it's all smooth and clean. It's lovely. It's been a very messy encounter tonight, though. Not quite sure what's going on. Gordon Ramsay, what are you up to this evening? Have you eaten? Are you going to eat? What's for dinner, tea, brunch, whatever? Just going to pop a few things away while we do this. It's getting there, it's getting there. There's just a couple of big lumps left that will break down in the next minute. Just get rid of that. Chicken legs and mashed potato. What a nice, easygoing dinner that is. Is that chicken legs just baked in the oven? Yeah, just chucked in the oven. Broken down. Makes me think of a really good Jason Atherton recipe, which was confit chicken legs. That's chicken legs, pop it in the hob, cover it with olive oil and simmer it for, I cannot remember how long. I think it's at least an hour. And you get this unctuous chicken. Serve it with butter beans and chorizo. It was really, really good. I'd really recommend it. Oh, wow. One of my services has blown up. Let's have a look. What's going on there? 132, you've changed. 132, no, just bored. Okay. I'm sure that will come back in a minute. Right. There we go, perfect. Lovely melty chocolate now. Rani Talmor, how are you doing? Search that. Yeah, I think I might have even blogged it. I haven't had it in a long time. But yeah, Jason Atherton, confit chicken. Try that. It's definitely got chorizo and butter beans in it. Rani, good to see you. Haven't seen you for a couple of weeks. I hope all is well. What have you been cooking? What are you eating today? This evening is all about cheat ingredients. We've been making a lasagna using lots of pre-packaged ingredients. Made some garlic knots, again using pre-packaged ingredients, and now we're doing it using a mousse. Right, as soon as I push this plunger down, it's going to make a load of noise, so... Oh, it's made a mess. Okay. What did I tell you? Today I'm making a right old mess. Just one of those moods. Right, so this is a chocolate mousse, allegedly. So let's try a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to decant it into little bowls for serving. So it is chocolatey. Just remind myself how she recommends serving it. Cover it with the chopped chocolate so you get even more chocolate hit out of it. Let's get the dangerous blade. You made some Neapolitan pizza, excellent. So yeah, we made some lasagna, we've made some garlic bread type things, and we're just making a quick dessert while everything else cooks. That's quite tasty actually. I'll tell you what it puts me in mind of is tiramisu. You know how tiramisu has that, well, obviously you use ricotta traditionally in tiramisu. Let's have another little bit. Yeah, so it's got a acidic tang, a bit like yogurt, because we're using the ricotta. Now I need to put it in some pots. More rummaging. Move this out of the way. Let's make these a bit more presentable. Let's get rid of that big splat of stuff there. So that was just, as a reminder, melted chocolate, ricotta, creme fraiche. The recipe called for rum, but I did a shot of Bailey's and a little sugar, just all whizzed up together. Came for the recipe, stay for the rummaging sounds. I mean, this is, I wouldn't call it relaxing ASMR, but clattering ASMR sounds. It's been a noisy one today, hasn't it? Going in the oven, messing with the microwave, rummaging for glass containers. There's probably enough for a fourth in there, but I'll do that off camera later. If you recall, we reserved some of this grated chocolate earlier, which I'm just going to scatter all over the top. I think that grated chocolate just helps remind you that it is a chocolate dessert. I'll finish that up later. Let's go and see. Oh, there's a bit on the board. Let's have that. I'm just going to pop this in the fridge just to settle. So ladies and gents, just while I tidy up a little bit here, one thing I've thought about for these streams is, Heather says Baileys will be much nicer than rum, but it's not so good for the waistline. Well, we're already talking about dessert, aren't we? The ricotta is probably doing worse for you than everything else. Let's have a quick look. One thing I've thought about, and again, I'm going to be in the oven checking things here. Just get a little knife. Is I've wondered about music on these streams, because it can be a little still sometimes. But because we're on YouTube, YouTube is obviously very militant about rights for music. I wonder whether we should have a little background music. So, I reckon these are ready. Our little garlic dudes. And while they're still hot, I'm just going to splat them with a bit more garlic butter. Just use up the rest of that melted garlic butter which we had earlier. Dig in the dead air. I'm not sure if you're being sarcastic. Sounds a little bit like you are. But I try and keep chatting. It's not always possible when you're concentrating, but I try. With my cloth. Is the dead air contemplative? No music needed to enjoy listening to the chat. Thank you very much, Heather. I've always thought it's okay. I genuinely did get a comment though of people saying, why is there no music? I was like, I don't know. Am I supposed to have music? A couple of the people do, but then they go exclusively on Twitch where the music copyright isn't an issue for the live broadcast for some reason. I don't really know why. Right, let's pop these onto a cooling rack. The lasagna is really nearly there. Just want to give it a couple more minutes just to ensure the sheets are cooked through. So let's show you one of these up close. Shiny, glistening, golden, cheesy. Rah. Cheese doing its best to try and stick to the tray. That one completely exploded. So that's good fun. I think I'll eat that one in a minute. Gordon says it looks delicious. Be over in 10. No problem. Can't guarantee you leftovers though. So get a wriggle on would be my advice. I'm just going to turn this over because it's all chocolatey. It's going to ruin the vibes. Right, I will try the really manky ruined one. Just going to press a few buttons. Let's do that. So I can show you. Yeah, see all the cheese has gone all crusty. Yeah. So I'm sure all of you out there can figure out how that tastes. It's bread, it's garlic butter, it's cheese. You know, it will taste exactly how you think it tastes. Just rebooting some software here. Just while I wait for the final bit to happen with the lasagna, I think we're just going to quickly shred some lettuce. Yeah, Corden, some of your rummaging sounds that you like so much. Thank you, Heather. Dead simple again. Tonight's stream, or this morning's for you, is all about store cupboard stuff. making life easy. Thank you, Granny. Yes. Bit of gooey cheese, if cheese is your thing. Lettuce. Just find a little fresh lettuce on the side. It just helps offset the richness of the lasagna, so every few bites you can refresh yourself. Of those, mind you, knocking over a few more things. Yeah, about. How's that? Is that better? Maybe I didn't sleep enough. Just a few of those. Just bunch that up. Just gonna rattle through there. Thank you, Gordon. I always do requests. This little bundle of green. Spreading that out. Nice, nice, nice. Bit more of that. Just wipe my knife down. Okay, I think lasagna should be ready. It is ready. Just negotiating it out of the oven. Ah, she blows. Season the lettuce. I would usually agree with you, Rani, except we're having it with such a powerfully flavoured lasagna. I think it's a waste of seasoning. But I always generally season my salad, and even if it's just plain like that. See that there, just bubbling away. That's some good crunch. Yeah, I've got the little knobbly bit on the end. Totally with you guys, totally with you. I just feel this is quite powerful. There's a lot going on here. It's going to get mopped up with all the flavours in the lasagna. Right. Love a lasagna and I've missed it. No, you haven't. It's right here. Link. Nice to see you. Haven't spoken in a while. Hope you're all good. This is a cheap lasagna made with a jar of sauce. You'll have to rewind back to figure out why. And a tin of mince and a tub of cheese sauce. We've made some cheat little garlic bread knot things and a cheat chocolate mousse. But hey, Gordon is right. You've come at the best time, Link. And you're busy playing James Pond 3. Well, I think I spend my time more wisely. Pond 3, it's not even the good one. Anyway, we could disagree about that all day. Right, so let's try and serve some of this up. It's quite wet, I would say. See how it comes out. It's a sloppy one. I think it's that wet, it's going to be really difficult to get out of there. But let's figure it out. I'm going to use a lovely little offset spatula thing. More rummaging, Corden, more rummaging. Just the way you like it. Yeah, right, let's get in there and try and get a bit out. Oh, it is so wet. It's ridiculous. Just going to serve up a couple of other pieces. Going to leave a load on the counter as well, because who wants that bit? What up? And the last bit. So there it is, all looking very liquidy. Yeah. And then there's more which will either end up as seconds for those who fancy it, or maybe popped in the fridge for a lunch this week. Ranny says the corner is the best piece of the lasagna. I totally agree. Let's just move that out the way. Oh, look at that big blob there. Right, I'm going to leave that there for a second. What's the deal with the salad? No, it's literally just some lettuce. I don't feel we need a lot going on here. So I think just a little lettuce on the side. Had some shade in the comments that I should have added salt to my lettuce, which I chose not to, but never mind. So, guys, I'm going to put you on mute for a minute. Dish this up to the rest of the family. Well, I think I'll do a be right back, actually. I'll do a be right back, and we'll come back and we'll have a taste. All right, well, we're back for tasting. Undressed lettuce, come on, bit of olive oil, salt, something. Tastes like crispy water. Okay, I'm just sucking up through a straw. That is pretty wet, isn't it? I think it's going to be fun. No, just serving up to the rest of the family. Lasagna is one of those foods, isn't it? When you have it, you are in risk of burning your mouth. So I'm putting it off for a minute or two, just so that doesn't happen. So as a reminder for those that missed the top, we used a tin of mince, M&S. We used a jar of sun-dried tomato sauce, Tesco. Mixed all that. Little tiny bit of red wine, some cheese sauce tubs, which nearly ended up in it. All in the name of convenience, of making it really quickly. So let's just try the mince. Hang on. Well, I'm not going to lie. It's pretty tasty. I think the sun-dried tomato flavour is quite strong. That's the only thing I would say. I don't know if we need a sun-dried tomato sauce, but that was specified. And obviously if you're not yapping at the camera, actually getting that done would be really quick and really easy. And you saw I could do the other things while that was baking in the oven. Yeah, it's pretty tasty. First time tinned mince for me, I think. I'm just concerned about the salt values. But for an entire can, it's 2.5 grams of salt in the entire tin, which is not a load when, and I think an adult's recommended maximum sodium is 7 grams. I might be wrong, not a nutritionist, or if the advice has changed. It's not horrendous, but obviously I'm having about a quarter of a tin there. Link, you like the tin stewed steak? Another thing I don't think I've had, just wasn't a thing in my house growing up. No problem with tins, no problem with a flabby Fray Bentos pie, but tin macaroni cheese. I love a tin macaroni cheese. Real nostalgia for that for me. And there we go. So that's a Cheats lasagna. If you've missed any part of it, the whole thing goes up on YouTube, so you can zip back and watch the whole thing. Well, I think more crashing just for you, Gordon. I think that's really tasty. I think it's a good cheat, as Delia calls it. Use it for pies and pasta. Yeah, just dump it in, add your pastry. Yeah. Yeah, good call. Good call. Again, a good cheat. That's what the theme of this dinner's all been about cheating, really. But it's time to eat, so I'm going to get this eaten. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. For those of you on YouTube, thanks very much. For those of you on Twitch, I'd love you to hang about. I'm going to raid over to Mrs. Handy's kitchen, who is wonderful, lovely, lovely person. Tinned ravioli, mac and cheese, nostalgic for you too. Yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? Right, just going to go over to millions of things. Get things started. But I hope you enjoyed that. It's been great hanging out with you all. And I look forward to hanging out with you again soon. I'd love to be really specific about when I'm online, but I just can't. There's too much going on, and I can't always predict when things are ready. Anyway, I'm going to raid over to Mrs. Handy for those of you on Twitch. So let's just go and find her. And yeah, I'm going to get that going. So once again, thanks very much. I hope you enjoyed that. And yes, lovely to see you, Heather. Lovely to see you, Link. And I hope I catch you all again soon. Enjoy the music.